Facebook.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm about to say, wait, is live or not? Here we go. Let's
We
see.
live. We live.
All right. Let me make sure everybody knows it's on. Make sure people understand what's going on. You're about to watch this massacre. Oh, I'm tripping. Man. Post. There we go. There we go. All right. You ready for this, G? You good? Yo. It's froze? G. Technical difficulties right now. Technical difficulties. Let me see. All right. Well, I guess we'll start the show. He'll jump back in when he's ready. Welcome back. Championship Ringside is live. Shout out to everybody listening. Shout out to by supporting. Shout out to by showing love. Busy Blaze here, waiting alongside G. I'm not sure if he got scared or he ran. I don't know. That's all on him. But look, the show must go on. Shout out to everybody showing love. Of course, y'all know if y'all not already subscribed, like, share, subscribe to the channel. I'm not gonna keep y'all waiting too long. Let me see what's going on with this young man. Hold up, sorry y'all. Let's see. All right. Well, while we're waiting on him, we got the NBA playoffs right now, and of course, I think the biggest news right now is the Nets being swept. And well, oh wait, hold up. Let me see. I don't know what happened to him. All right, well, this guy here. Shout out to my dog King, man. What's going on with you? All right, so the Nets got swept, and the whole NBA world is in a what is kerfuffle? Whatever. I don't use big words like that, but yeah. And now everybody looking at KD sideways because he was considered the best player in the NBA for a long time, and now he's actually getting jumped on. Now everybody's starting to realize that he's not the best player in the NBA, and now everybody trying to consider what his legacy, is right now. There we go. Let me see it. Yo, come on, man. That's embarrassing. You running?
Look.
You running?
Look, I was like, bruh. Confetti effect. You did
what?
On the I was like, man, how you start doing the confetti effect on the live? Because my phone looked like it had confetti on it. And then all of a sudden that sucker went off. I was like, man.
I didn't know
Apple trying to,
I'm like, man, what's up with this
Apple
cat,
trying to play me, trying to make me get the new one. I ain't getting no new phone.
Yes, you is, man. You one of those type of guys, man.
I'm definitely not one of those type of guys.
But look, let's get back into it. Since you just jumping in, you was running, but it's all good. So we talking about the Nets. The Nets then got swept, and now the whole world then went crazy. Now they starting to shame KD. Now they starting to shame Kyrie. Now they starting to bash Steve Nash. But this championship ringside, we got to talk about it ourselves. So, where you want to start at with the Nets? The Nets, the Boston Celtics that swept the Nets. We got so much to talk about, but I know you got some real particular topics you want to talk about. So, go ahead, shoot.
So first I want to talk about KD. I want to talk about what his legacy is, or what this means. First, what I want to mention, because I know in uh one of we always talk about this, one of the early episodes, talking about like how KD is the most skilled scorer, or whatever we want to give KD the credit for, as far as being a scorer, being one of the best scorers of all time. So on one of the early episodes, I remember, like,
You can hear that?
we was a little bit, but we was talking about one of the KD being a better scorer than Michael Jordan. And one, like, that conversation right there has to stop. Uh, the conversation of KD being the best player in the world has to stop. And that was a take that I gave, preseason take. I said KD was the best player in the world. So I was wrong. Absolutely. And also, one of the other things that I'll say about KD is, I know a lot of modern NBA fans, uh, like younger cast, would like to say that KD is better than Bird, and you can't say that, honestly, because what Bird did, that's what we expect KD to do, and he hasn't done that yet, and I don't think he's ever going to do it. So we can't really put him up there. Um, it's hard enough to try to put him above Steph as far as legacy is concerned. But at the end of the day, like, when it comes down to KD, like, he hasn't done anything to or prove some of these ratings that some people try to put him on, or this pedestal that some people try to put him on, because we look at him and say that he's a 7 foot guard, but he hasn't done the things that we think that he should be able to accomplish with the size, um, that he has, and the skill that he has. So you gotta at some point you gotta prove it.
All right. So if we talking all time status, I don't think this affects his all time status. I had KD in the top 15 area. Like you said, I don't have him above Bird and LeBron because I got them two in the top 10. Steph, I didn't ever have him above Steph. And as far as small forwards, I don't have him above Dr. J yet either. That's just me. I know people probably looking at me crazy, but I don't have him above Dr. J yet either. Um, if we won't go by how his legacy was affected, I'm gonna say it was not affected at all, because this is something we're gonna probably say, and it's gonna blemish him. But I don't think KD actually his legacy is solidified at the moment. I don't think he has too much left in the tank to prove where he's gonna stand. If you want to say top 10, that's a big stretch to say where his resume stand at and the accomplishment he achieves. Of course, you go by stats, but as far as where he stand at all time, I don't think that was affected. And plus, also, all I think this means is he's on the clock now. We can't judge him like if you say if you want to say he fell off. If you want to say he fell off, you can't judge that yet. Because I did a decline episode, and I mean, shout out to the podcast. That episode came out yesterday. The people who declined, KD actually made my list by a stretch, because I thought his aggressiveness went down this year as far as him looking like he wanted to get it. And I think all this year tells me is that he's on the clock for, if he fell off, like not hypothetically, but similar to Kobe. Kobe got eliminated in 2011. He got swept, I believe, by the Mavericks. And it kind of that was at first, as far as Kobe fans, it was like, all right, maybe it was a fluke because Dallas won the championship. But come to realize that was actually towards the end of Kobe, because Then they tried to do these rebuilds. Kobe couldn't carry a team no more to no success point. Pau Gasol wasn't the same. So to when we judging KD on what he gonna do moving forward, we gotta wait till next year to call him if he fell off or not. But as far as legacy wise, he didn't move. He didn't move down, but he definitely didn't move up. This didn't help him. But you can go through every legend and see where the failures come in at. Steph right above him. He lost a 3-1 lead in the finals.
So no, I wasn't saying that KD fell off. What I'm saying is KD
But I know
never
you didn't bring that point. My bad. I know you didn't bring
right,
that point up, but that was I brought that. I added that to you. I added that to
right.
what you're saying.
No, I understand what you're saying, but I'm just saying KD didn't fall off. He never was what we believed him to be. That's all I'm saying. Like we believe that KD was supposed to be Larry Bird with more skill. Like he was supposed to be Larry Bird with handle. That's what we thought KD was supposed to be. We thought KD was supposed to be a 7 foot guard. We thought KD because we we saw this type of NBA and the type of play that KD has and what he brings to the table being that he's such uh, a matchup nightmare that KD was supposed to um, be a perennial MVP and he won one. Like his most success was on somebody else's team. Like we know he was the best player on that team, but that was somebody else's team because they won a championship before him. And toward the end, they were saying that we done this before you got here. Just KD was the overwhelming where it got to the point to where it's not it's not really competition anymore. So it wasn't the fact that like he did something where he swayed um the power so much to where like he didn't join like the Clippers or anything like that, or he didn't join the Grizzlies. Like he didn't join somebody who was um a contender, like say for example, if somebody joins Utah and then all of a sudden Utah becomes a juggernaut, like he didn't do that. He joined somebody who was already there. Like if somebody decides to join Phoenix or somebody decides to join um the Bucks, like that's where most of his success comes from. Because once we start getting into that top 15 range, we talking about people who brought their team championships. And KD hasn't done that. So I'm saying that at the end of the day, if we're looking at his real legacy, not by what the potential can do, because at this point, KD gotta be 34 years old. At this point, when we're not looking at KD about potential anymore. We're looking at KD about what he did. And what KD did, um, on the grand scheme of things versus what our expectations is not up there with those dudes. I don't want to say that he is not that impressive, but no, it's just not up there with those dudes that we looking at in toward top 15 and different things like that. So yeah, we no longer talking about potential when it comes down to KD. It's about production.
But we didn't do our list yet. But he definitely should be. I'm almost sure he top 15. I gotta
No,
look
no,
at that.
he no, he I would agree that he's top 15. Like,
Yeah,
but
I think
yeah.
the problem. I think the problem come in there is what with who y'all put who not y'all, but well, we are victims of it too. We put him against somebody who's a top 10 player of all time, and this is what Steph comes in short at too. Every time LeBron comes up short, they say, "Oh, he'll never be Jordan, who's everybody's GOAT." But when it comes to Steph or KD, or you can even try to put Giannis in there, but Giannis not in that LeBron class. But if Steph comes up short, that's why he's not better than LeBron. If KD comes up short, that's why he's not better than LeBron. And I think KD had the chance to, jump out of that cage of comments if he would have Actually beating Boston wouldn't have got him there, but if he'd have won the championship, even though I think the championship still would have been kind of whack because I mean he would have needed Ben Simmons, and Kyrie and Ben Simmons is still a super team to me. But I guess since he's the leader and that team was put together around him, that'll give him his respect. But I think he got to wait another whole another year to gain that respect. And I know people probably nervous about it because of what we're about to talk about next, which is Kyrie.
So look, so look, we was talking about on kind of offline was when it comes down to the Nets and what they dealt with Kyrie for this past year. Like Kyrie is at this point, I want to say he can opt out and he can get an extension, or I don't know if he has to opt out to get an extension, but yeah, he can get an extension where they paying him somewhere around $50-55 million a year. And my question is, like, if you the Nets, do you pay him that? And um, I honestly, if I'm to answer my own question, I think you have to. I wouldn't want to. Absolutely not. I wouldn't want to. Just for the fact that when I look at it from this standpoint, um, Kyrie has not been able to move the needle for any team that he's been on. I look at Kyrie, and while he's super talented, and if we look at number one, or we look at a one-on-one matchup, if you can get it to where everything is even, and I think I said this before, then Kyrie can put you over the top. I think Kyrie can do that, and I think that was the luxury that he had playing with LeBron, where LeBron was the ultimate equalizer, where LeBron can do something where he can level the playing field for pretty much most of the teams that he's been on, and he can level that playing field where now Kyrie can be like, I can I can put the icing on the cake. I can go ahead and I can go ahead and beat this one-on-one matchup that I have. But for the most part, like that's I don't think that's a max guy for me. I don't think a max guy is somebody who does that. I think the only reason why he gets the max from them is because like the max keeps Kevin Durant uh satisfied. So you basically in reality you wind up paying $100 million a year to keep Kevin Durant satisfied, because that's basically what it is. Because uh, there can be probably 10 other point guards that I can name that I'll probably rather have than Kyrie Irving. Um, yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not really impressed by him.
All right, you gotta excuse the background noise. You know, I'm still doing this in a house, so somebody could decide to cut their grass. But look, uh, where should I start? I'm gonna start with your. Should you give Kyrie the max? Should Brooklyn offer Kyrie the max? Uh, yeah, they. You're right. They stuck with him with the max. Uh, they could probably try to convince him to take a little bit less so they can get other players, since he the one whose contract's up. But if he demands the top dollar, I believe they should give him the top dollar, and I think they are going to give him the top dollar. Um, Now your whole Kevin Durant take, I'm tripping. Your whole Kevin Durant take, um, they paying 100 something million. Kyrie only getting 100 something million for the max. I thought he was like in the 200 something.
No, I'm saying when I say 100 something million, because I'm assuming that I don't know what KD contract is, but I'm assuming KD getting probably like 40-50 million a year, and Kyrie getting 50 million a year. And the only
Oh, you
reason why
meant
I'm
a
paying Kyrie,
year? Okay,
yeah, a
okay, okay.
year, yeah, a year.
All right. So I think that's nonsense, total nonsense. When we talk about Kyrie, you cannot name 10 point guards better. Uh, Now, if you want to go with chemistry fit, how it will go across the, how he'll fit amongst other teammates, then okay, you probably have that debate with you. You have that take on your side. But as far as Kyrie the player, where better fit will he fit at? Is Brooklyn the best fit for him? So that's why it makes sense for you to offer him the most money. If we talking about a different team, where like he made it known that he I don't see him ever getting back with LeBron as much as people want to give this fantasy story, trade Westbrook and Kyrie, get these reunions back, but I don't see that happening because I don't think LeBron's style fits Kyrie's style anymore. I think it works best with Kevin Durant. So as far as the Nets concerned, you're looking at it like, okay, if we let Kyrie, we're not gonna let Kyrie go for nothing. So who are we gonna trade him for? Key pieces, more shooters. We don't even know what Ben Simmons talk. We don't even know what Ben Simmons bring when he get back on court. So the fact that that's hanging over your head, he probably wet trash now. Like not, I mean, maybe not. He probably Dennis Rodman now. The problem is, sorry about the lawnmower. The problem is we don't know. So the fact that if he's not, if you got so many questions about your franchise, you know for a fact Kevin Durant your top player, your best option is Kyrie as your second best player. And also, have you seen max players? Have you ever looked up players who are on max contracts? Like, it's a real question. You ever look that up?
Yeah, you can. It's max contracts are different because you can have a max contract there's rookie maxes. There's maxes that are under all NBA level players. But Kyrie was all NBA last year, so he qualifies for like the super max contract. So that's why. But
Well,
yeah,
and that's what I'm saying. I would never I would never say, or never even fix my mouth to say that a player doesn't deserve the supermax anymore. When I seen that, I can't even think of the names of the players who's getting max contracts. Like, everybody gets max. If you pretty much, if they get offered to you, you're getting it, unless you
yeah.
unless you Dennis Schroeder, who made that stupid ass mistake. But that's him. That's him. I don't know what the fuck he was thinking. But that's the only time I ever seen a player don't get banked. Everybody gets banked now, and Kyrie at his best. If the vaccination done, he's probably top 15. At best, he's top 15. At worst, top 25. And I'm going deep if I say he's top 25. You really can't name 20 players better than Kyrie. If you want to go with chemistry fit, cool. You can have the chemistry fit argument. I'm not going to debate that, but yeah, I'm gonna say you got to give Kyrie that max contract.
So look, when I'm talking about Kyrie as far as a max contract or whatever like that, or when I'm saying that point guards that I'd rather have than Kyrie Irving. Now, when has Kyrie actually moved the needle for a team? Like when he was, because Kyrie is asked to be, and this is what I'm going about. On the Nets, Kyrie is asked to be the primary ball handler. So with Kyrie being a primary ball handler, when he actually moved the needle for a team?
Real question to me.
Yeah, real question.
I think he was asked twice to move the needle. When he first got to Cleveland and Boston, I don't think nobody else asked him to move the needle for nobody. They asked him.
And he
They asked him to play backup everywhere else he went.
and he's failed. So the times
Playing backup.
No, I'm saying he's failed to move the needle as far as the primary ball handler, and we're asking him to be the primary ball handler now. Like he's
Wait,
the only time that we, yeah, the only time that
two
we
different.
have.
That's two different questions. I didn't know you was asking that. You're
No,
asking you
far as
asking him to be the primary ball handler or carry his team. That's two different
no,
questions.
no. So I'm saying we asked him to move the needle as the primary ball handler. We're asking him to do that
But then
with
three
with
times,
the
if you're
Nets.
saying it as the primary ball handler, then the Brooklyn thing, I think Brooklyn asked him to be the primary ball handler too. But to be the bet to lead his team somewhat, I say twice. But go ahead, finish, my man.
But I'm saying all the times that we're looking at that he's failed. The times that they've been successful. somebody else has been a primary ball handler. So they were semi-successful last year when it came down to him, James Harden, and KD. And the reason we could look to why they failed was the injuries. James Harden got injured and Kyrie got injured. And even with that said, KD was a big toe from beating the champion Bucks. So we can look at that. He wasn't the primary ball handler then. The time that he was with LeBron, he wasn't the primary ball handler then, or he wasn't asked to get teammates involved. He was asked to do one on one and take a primary scoring load. On this team right here, the only person that I could think about that if we're looking at a primary ball handler is probably Goran Dragic, and he's not about to start games for them. So or you can say you're gonna run it through KD, but it's like we know KD is better off of catch and shoot situations. So it's just like when I'm looking at this from a practicality standpoint, either you're gonna get a primary ball handler where you can have Kyrie basically playing at two guard role where he's asked to score, or you got to live with him being a primary ball handler and not really moving the needle for you. And if that's the case, then is he worth a max contract on his own? Like if you're Brooklyn Nets and you don't and Kevin Durant decides to retire this year, are you paying Kyrie Irving the max? And I say no, absolutely not. The only reason why you're paying Kyrie Irving the max is to satisfy Kevin Durant.
That's part of it. That's part of it. Um, that plays into leverage for him, and I can't disagree with that. That's part of it. They built that team together. Kevin Durant fully supports him, so I see that being part of his max contract. But I'm not gonna sit there and say that's the main part. Again, he's still one of the best players individually in the league.
Yeah.
All right, is that all we had on the Nets?
I got one more thing. I just want
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. Go ahead, go ahead, go
So
ahead.
so real quick, one of the things that we was talking about this offline as well. Like, did the Nets absolutely lose this trade, this Ben Simmons, James Harden trade? Now, just trying to remember the trade. They got Seth Curry, two first round picks, Andre Drummond, and Ben Simmons for James Harden. Uh, that was a trade, and I think a lot of people were saying Morey got fleeced and everything. Like they was just going ham about this trade. Now, as of right now, and it does depend on what happens when it comes down to the Sixers. I'm counting the Nets as all the way losing this trade. As of right now, and the reason why I'm going to count the Nets as all the way losing this trade is one, Ben Simmons didn't play at all this year, at all, and we don't know what his future like in the NBA is going to be. So, uh, what you said, he might be garbage water or something after this. So, I don't know. And because you have KD and Kyrie, you looking at you in a win now situation. You feel me? And because you're in a win now situation, you're not really these first round picks are not something that they're not coveted like that. Like that's not what you hedging your bet on. Like unless you doing it with a trade. Um, I guess the other thing is like when it comes down to it, I think if if the vaccine mandate is lifted while James Harden is there and they have a chance to win a championship, I don't know if he wants to leave the next year. Like if he's playing with KD and Kyrie, I don't know. Maybe if they know the vaccine mandate is getting lifted or whatever like that, and they just decide to say like we're gonna ride it out this season, to see what's gonna happen. Like maybe they get a championship out this. So while right now we're looking at it from an unknown perspective, I think because they basically got the mystery box for James Harden. I'm a I think they definitely lost this trade like big time.
I'm gonna go with the side of no. And of course, I got the we don't know what's up yet. Philly might flame out. Ben Simmons might come back looking like I said. To me, the best thing he could do is turn to Dennis Rodman next year. I'm talking about just messing with dudes. Even if you got to grab a little ass on court. I mean,
God.
hey, look, what else you expect out of Ben Simmons? You ain't expecting him to come out to turn it to Jordan. I know you expect the street ball videos you see on Instagram. So yeah, him out there, jumping on dudes, doing all that behind dudes. Like, you know what? That's the next need. They need a little griminess. They need a little edge. Ben Simmons bringing that to you. Of course, he looking entirely too soft to pull that off, but he. So yeah, you could say they lost because Ben Simmons didn't play, but would you really say they lost the trade if? My bad about the noise again. If they would have got all the way to the finals and won, or even they got to the finals, would you say they would have lost the trade? And I would have said they wouldn't have. I think that on their side, the trade situation incomplete because I also think it had nothing to do with them losing in the playoffs. Um, Even with James Harden, I can't say that Boston wouldn't beat them. Dudes probably wouldn't have been a sweep, but Boston looked like they would have beat them regardless. KD looked out of it. I don't know if James Harden would have gave him some kind of rejuvenation, but as fat as James Harden getting, I don't know. Most people don't like people when they get fatter. Like that's usually how it works. I'm just saying, you mess somebody in shape and they got out of shape. It's like, I don't know, bro. I don't know. Most situations that turn out bad. So I don't see KD like, oh yeah, James still here. And apparently him and Kyrie used to bump heads. I know it's about the vaccination, but that's real life. So as far as the trade goes, I mean, right now it looks like Philly has the edge, but if Philly flame out themselves, nobody won the trade. They both end up losers. I'm gonna say no. On the strength of the reason they out the playoffs is not because of the trade.
So look, I'm gonna say this. When it comes down to the value of a point guard, I think that's lost because one of the things I was mentioning was Kyrie has failed to move the needle as a primary ball handler. I think James Harden, with his ability to get other people involved, would have made it easier on KD because when it came down to Kyrie, when when it was double teaming KD or when it was hedging off of they're cheating over to double team KD, the only person that you have to really pay attention to is Kyrie Irving. And if Kyrie Irving has the ball, then the only person that you have to pay attention to is Kevin Durant. When it came down to James Harden, if you have all three of them on the court, that presents another issue for you. But not only does it present another issue for you, if he has the ball, everybody else is now a threat because he's gonna be able to get other people involved. So I I'll say on the court, having James Harden is better than having Andre Drummond and Seth Curry. That part is simple, and for the Brooklyn team, it would have been different. I'm not saying that I don't know if they'd have beat Boston just for the fact of from the defensive end. It's not like James Harden care about defense, and they the Nets couldn't stop anybody this season. So like the whole game plan was to just outscore people. Now, with that said, before KD got hurt, there was number one and number two seed just doing that. But at the end of the day, I think it's a little. They had a better chance with James Harden. I don't think they would have. I know for sure that they wouldn't have got swept. I can't even say that, but yeah, I think they'd have had a better chance with James Harden. So
Yeah, better chance, but I think they still lost. That's why I think the trade didn't affect. Yeah, I don't think the trade affected whatever the hell they was trying to do. I think that was just I think we have to judge the trade by next year, or if Philly win a championship. If Philly gets to the conference finals, that still don't look like to me. That's still not a win because James Harden could get the team to the conference finals with. So, well, the James Harden we know to love, he can get to the conference finals in the Western Conference at one point. So they gotta get to the finals. If they get to the finals, then I feel like I could judge the trade. But till then, I gotta see Ben Simmons do something or at least retire. If he retired, then yeah, there we go. That now clear vision. But them dudes got swept, so they done going fishing. You know what I'm saying? Just peace out. KD about to start bashing people on Twitter because that's the type of guy he is. But till then, he watching the playoffs at home like we are. And what he about to watch is the team that bust his ass go against who I think the best player in the world, Giannis Antetokounmpo. You was good on the Nets, right? We good on the Nets?
Yeah, we good on
that. All right. So now, let's talk about the next round. Boston versus Milwaukee. So from the setup, from what it looks like, we got probably the best defense in the playoffs. They probably not statistically, they're probably not even the best defense in the conference. But from what they did to KD, they're known as the best defense in the playoffs versus. So if Giannis wasn't considered the best player in most people's eyes, he'll consider the second best player in most people's eyes. So we got a conference final-ish type second round. I still got Giannis busting that ass. I got Milwaukee in 6. This is all fate in me thinking Giannis is the best player in the world, and Jason Tatum could guard somebody trying to get a jump shot. But what are you gonna do when a dude coming to the goal? He give him that Shaq elbow to the back as he's doing a spin move and then dunk on him. Marcus Smart not about to jump in that way. Drew Holiday gonna be in the way of that. I think the length and size of Milwaukee is gonna work in their favor towards Boston because Boston likes to play small. But the problem with Milwaukee's length is still athletic. Bobby Portis, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday is one of the bigger guards in the league. You could put that lineup on the floor, and I think Grayson Allen would be probably the other guard. That's a hell of a defensive squad. If Chris Middleton make it back, yeah. As far as Boston goes, I want to say the reason I'm picking Bucks in 6 is because I'm not sure how much of the Kevin Durant situation has to do with Kevin Durant more than Boston also. Kevin Durant, 34 years old, came from an injury. I'm not sure how much worn down he was versus Boston putting the clamps on him. So this will be a test for Boston defense also. And yeah, by me having that question about the last series and me having faith that Giannis the best player in the league, Milwaukee in 6. Let's go. I know it's championship ringside, but still.
And you know what? I'm giving Boston a chance in this series. I think reason why I'm giving Boston a chance in this series is I think Bucks are gonna feel the injury to Chris Middleton. I don't think he's gonna play at all this next series. He was supposed to get reevaluated in 2 weeks, and I don't like Giannis is a matchup nightmare for Boston. Um, but I think they'll be able. I think they'll be able to get through it. Yeah, I think they have as far as where they're strong, where they're stronger. They're stronger as far as um their smalls, whereas the Bucks are stronger as far as their bigs is concerned. And I think they'll have a plan to stop or to at least make it harder for Giannis because that's a different animal that you're going against. You're not going against somebody who's trying to get open for a jump shot. You're going against somebody who's trying to dunk on you. And uh when it comes down to being able to do the things that he does, where you can take 2 steps from the half court line, do a euro, and dunk the ball is really hard to it's really hard to defend that. I just think that one of the things that made it really hard to defend them, and I looked at this in the Phoenix series, was the person who's usually strong enough to guard Giannis is not fast enough to guard Giannis. And like and what I mean by that is the stronger players are going to be centers. You have to guard him with a center, but they're not fast enough to guard him. Um, and when they did a pick and roll with Chris Middleton, who was pretty was efficient from mid range. Once you drop both people on Giannis, Chris Middleton gonna hit that shot, and it's like he hit that shot every time. And once you try to close out on Chris Middleton, Giannis gonna dunk on you. Without Chris Middleton, I think it's gonna be much more of a struggle, and I think Boston is going to have more weapons. They can throw more bodies at Giannis. So I'm gonna take Boston in 7.
Easy cop out 7. That's what everybody do. Only reason I'm gonna disagree with you on that is because if we go by clutch time, then yeah, you probably have that. But I think Milwaukee could. I think Giannis could step up and try to do that. And I mean, if you saying last minute 3, okay, cool. But you got Drew Holiday. You got options. You don't have Chris Middleton's a better option than those guys, but you got certain options. Also, I think Boston's going to have a hard time scoring against Milwaukee themselves. So that's the part. As much as Jason Tatum might dominate, when you have Giannis in front of you, because I don't see no other person who will guard Jason Tatum. So if Giannis in front of you, how do clutch time points looking then?
But
We'll see.
Giannis don't I don't want to say Giannis don't step up like that, but Giannis don't usually take the best perimeter player.
I
Giannis usually
agree,
guards it big. So
but
that's why it's like I don't really see that happening. And then even if that's the case, what they gonna do is they gonna run enough picks to where they gonna get the matchups that they want. And
who is that though? That's the part I'm talking about.
it could be Brooke Lopez, it could be Bobby Portis. Like you can get the matchups that you want as far as the center is concerned. Now, if Milwaukee is playing small, what's the small ball lineup? What you got? Grayson Allen, Wesley Matthews, like Drew Holiday, Giannis. Like, because I'm guessing the small ball lineup is gonna have Giannis at center, but without Chris Middleton now, who's really
Probably
replacing him? Is it
probably
Con?
Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis probably still plays center.
So when it comes down to it, you're gonna hunt for those matchups that you want. And when it comes down to Jason Tatum is gonna find that matchup with Bobby Portis. And Bobby Portis, like he gonna guard Jason Tatum out there, or are they gonna try to trap him? Like what they gonna do? So
I think you.
I think that that Boston has is gonna have a better plan. Now if Chris Middleton was healthy, I'll give it to Milwaukee all the way. I just think they're gonna miss him for this series. I think the Bulls were so hurt to where it wasn't even a challenge. They didn't miss Chris Middleton at all this series. But I think for the next series that they're gonna miss him.
All right. What a surprise. We disagree. I'll be shooting you. I'll be shooting you the text when Game 6 Giannis like was nothing, you know, and Tatum like he's a good player, man. He's one of the best in the league, man. All right, let's go. What we got next? What we got next? What we got next? Oh, first of all, before we move forward, man, you gotta hit us up, man. Facebook Championship Ringside, Instagram Championship _Ringside. Twitter at Champ Ringside, email championshipringside@gmail.com. For the Twitch, follow, subscribe. I have no clue what you're doing on Twitch. I'm just streaming on it right now. Follow it, like it. I don't know, chop it up and put it on YouTube so you can steal our content. I don't know. I see people do that on Twitch. On YouTube, of course, like, share, subscribe. And that's it. I mean, Visit Blaze, protein shake, however you want to spell it, is on the screen. All right. Ready for the next topic?
Let's go.
All right. You want to talk about this one? I don't really got much to say on it, but my dog back in the news. You know what I'm saying? He took down all his Instagram posts, and everybody wonder what's going on. Lakers getting mad. Lakers talking about that's LeBron and Clutch fault that Westbrook was there. All that. Now, they stuck in a rock and a hard place. They sitting on $47 million. You gotta wait for a desperate team who wants to get rid of a contract to take them on. Yada yada yada. Westbrook future. Go ahead, G. Go ahead.
Listen. The only thing that I see in Westbrook future is 47 mil. Because I don't care. I wouldn't care what the Lakers talk about. I ain't opting out. Run me my money. Run me my bread and then find somewhere else for him to go. I don't think Westbrook is done as far as the NBA is concerned. Maybe I might be alone in that. Probably not alone. I know you like have ultimate confidence in Westbrook, but um, I think Westbrook can get somewhere where he can prove himself or where he can reprove himself to be a contributing member to society or to a team or whatever like that. But yeah, like I think this. I'm pretty sure this is his last big contract. I don't think nobody else is gonna pay him like a ridiculous amount or anything like that. And I think that's gonna be tragic to him. Uh, but as far as his future is concerned, I do think that yeah, you do have to find a team that's looking to dump contracts or something like that. Like somebody who's willing to dump contracts or somebody who's underpaying people like OKC. But does OKC want to stunt the growth of the players that's there? Because
Who?
like for as
Gritty?
huh?
Who, Gritty?
You say Gritty. Who?
Giddy? What his name is?
Oh yeah, Giddy.
Yeah, I'm about to say
uh
that's the only
they
that's the
got
only
Shay. I like Lou Dort too. I like Lou Dort too.
how
Yeah.
much time you giving them? How much time you giving them?
Who
Shea should have broke out by now.
he should have. He should have.
Yeah.
No, so look,
Go ahead. Go ahead, man.
you do have like a need for a veteran presence on your team because like a need for a veteran presence, like one thing that people do not realize is like looking at what Chris Paul had did for what Chris Paul did for the teams that he's been on, but not only from a play perspective, but from a perspective of a leadership standpoint. And I think CJ McCollum has did pretty much the same thing for the Pels. Like you get a lot of young players together, and young players, young talent together, all usually always flops. It's very rare that young talent together does well. But I remember like early 2000s, we talked about how, and you might not have been one of those people, but we talked about how good how talented those Clipper teams was, like in the early 2000s when we called Lamar Odom the goods. You feel me? Like, but I feel like it was a bunch of knuckleheads on the team. You dig? And maybe they went out every night. I don't know. I don't know what them dudes did, but you got a bunch of young dudes with money. You feel me? Like how Shaq talks about how they missed the opportunity in Orlando because they was celebrating before they played Houston. You feel me? And he looks back at that like we should have won that. And you know, history doesn't say that, but we don't know like how hungover they went into them games or like what type of sleep they had before they went into those games. So I don't really know. So there is a need for a veteran presence, but the question is where. That's really the question. I've been advocating for New York for a long time, and I'm gonna still stay with New York. I think that's where he needs to go, where he can get them to the playoffs. He can be an
That's a max.
attraction
That's a max
for the
contract situation.
it would it would be a max contract situation because what would happen is I'm saying if he was to get traded to New York with 47 mil and they got rid of Julius Randle, Kimba, and what's the other dude name is Fournier. If they got rid of those three for Westbrook, and Westbrook was able to get that team to the playoffs, then absolutely New York will owe him a max contract. I don't know if I don't know if he won't do that because Westbrook at this point in his career, I don't know. Like you
Yeah,
want
you could do. I mean,
you want
max.
5 years? You
When you
want
say
you
max
want 4 more
contract,
years? Yeah, you want 4 more years
wait,
of Westbrook?
wait, max contract don't mean 4 years though, huh? You can do a 2 year
Yeah,
max.
no, no. It's usually 4 years.
I think you can supply. So I think they supply with a 2 year max. Give him a Kobe
Yeah,
deal. That
no,
that that
That's Kobe retiring. That's Kobe retirement gift.
that's Kobe putting. That's people want to. That's people want to. That's Lakers trying to sell them damn tickets.
as a retirement gift, you dig? But
So
yeah,
look,
that's all I'm saying. Like, yeah, go ahead.
all right. So clear as day, I can't even see Westbrook coming back to the Lakers. I personally would love to see him with the Clippers. Fantasy world probably don't get what I want. And I know Reggie Jackson ain't having that. Um,
You think he
I
gonna
feel
opt
like,
out?
huh?
You think he gonna opt out?
No, he definitely not gonna opt out. Lakers gonna try to
Oh,
trade him. Problem is, I don't know. I don't see a realistic trade. I would personally say running back and see how it works with a healthy Anthony Davis and with the visual of, hey Westbrook, look what happened. Look why this didn't work. You know, of course, he probably could point. You can point the finger at LeBron. You can point the finger at AD. You can point the finger at Frank Vogel. But if Frank Vogel gone, that's hypothetically say AD healthy. I think they can at least make the playoffs, and they're still a strong team if you add different pieces around him. You can't keep Carmelo. He's not a great piece. Dwight Howard, he should be more utilized. If you give them certain pieces, it will work. I would think it will work. As far as championship, I'm not 100. Also, okay, let me take a step back. You have to run it back as your best chances. That's why you got to run it back. It's your best chances. You can't trade Westbrook for nothing that amazing. You can't trade AD for nothing that amazing. So for real, you don't. And this is the thing. When it comes to Westbrook, I do want to clarify. Maybe nobody noticed this. This dude never missed the playoffs till he linked up with LeBron. I feel like nobody realized that part. Did you notice that?
you saying it's LeBron's fault?
I'm saying it's more. It's not just Westbrook's fault. So that's why I'm going back to saying maybe they should try to work something out. Cause you talking about Evan Fournier on the Lakers that supposed to who they supposed to help out? And it put it this way, and I'm gonna leave it at this. Westbrook future is pretty much on a rocky path because if you stay with the Lakers, he gotta deal with whatever future you gotta deal with the Lakers. And the problem with the Lakers is they lose almost every trade scenario. Almost every trade scenario the Lakers lose.
So when I said Evan Fournier, Kimber Walker, and Julius Randle. Those are
You
the
don't
those
listen
are
to
the
the
pieces I
podcast
say.
enough. Kimber Walker got sent home.
Oh, what he sent? You mean sent home like what? What you mean? He cut or something?
Pretty much, yeah. Like,
But I'm saying, is he still signed with the Knicks?
unfortunately, yeah.
Okay, so he could get traded. So that's all I'm talking about. Like, so Evan Fournier broke a Knicks 3 record. I don't know what the record was before, but he's the made the most threes for the Knicks in a season. I think he had a pretty good percentage as well. So the problem with AD, LeBron, and Russ is they don't have spacing. You get a really good 3-point shooter who's um, a decent two guard right there. Also, you get Julius Randle, who he's a decent player, but the thing that got in his head was he thought he was Kobe. Like he starts taking Kobe type shots with the Knicks, and he's not that dude. So one, you have somebody with what you thought you was going, oh, what you did get with Russ, because the reason why Russ was there was, or one of the reasons why Russ was there was Russ is going to come to work every day. That's one of the reasons why Russ was there. Aside from the freak injury, Russ is pretty consistent about being available. So you get Julius Randle, who's gonna basically be available even when AD is not available. So he's somewhat of a AD insurance policy a little bit, but you also have spacing. So now you have LeBron, AD, Randall, Fournier, and whoever you want to have at your starting one. You can have Kimba coming off the bench, and all I'm saying is that's a better team than LeBron, Russ, and AD, because LeBron, Russ, and AD, where they do their work at is all of them do their work in the paint. And in today's NBA, that's not a recipe for success. You can't have your three best players do all their work in the same places. And the one who can actually shoot threes wants to have the ball in his hands. So if he wants to have the ball in his hands all the time, you don't have to guard AD on the perimeter. You don't have to guard Westbrook on the perimeter. So you could run like some sort of zone or some sort of wall where it's like I can press up on LeBron and I can have two people that's basically waiting for him right inside the paint or right outside the paint, so they don't have a 3-second call. Because if AD get the ball, he has to come to the paint where they already are. If Russ get the ball, he has to come to the paint where they already are. And LeBron wants to get to the paint. So I'm just saying, like, we've tried this experiment. It does not work. It does not work. And with LeBron being 37 years old, we don't need to try this experiment again if you're trying to win another championship on LeBron's watch. If you're just trying to sell tickets, then cool. Run it back. If that's what you care about, Lakers, we still talking about the Lakers, and it's the off season. LeBron been in Maldives or Cancun or wherever he is, enjoying life. But the goal is to win a championship. Then
All right, so
Russ got to go.
yeah, that team you described, I don't see that. So what I feel like I noticed, I think you made the same mistake that made me stop and reevaluate what I was thinking. You must be thinking of the old LeBron. That team you're talking about not going to work with the new LeBron, the LeBron that I'm gonna score as many points as I can. That because Evan Fournier standing out on the side, not that down, that's not gonna help. Julius Randle gonna look lost like Russ out there. I don't see that unless you're gonna tell me LeBron turned it back to 2018 LeBron, which evidence shows that he might not go back to that LeBron. That's a little aggressive for what he's trying to do. If he trying to stay healthy for what, 3 more years, 2 more years to get his son in the league, I don't see that happening. Uh, like I said, the best option for the Lakers in my eyes is to keep Westbrook. You get $4 to $7 million next year, and like I said, the key pieces you gonna get is not gonna measure up to whatever whatever team has Westbrook. Because you trade him to the Knicks, Westbrook probably in the Lakers. I mean, the Knicks to the playoffs. You trade him to whatever team, they likely are going to be a playoff team if Russ still the same guy. We also got to consider the fact that Russ might not be the same guy next year either. So wherever he goes, I'm pretty sure he's going to rejuvenate this stain on his season.
Yeah. All I'm saying is, it don't matter what the other teams get. you know you're not getting Russ out of Russ. So get rid of him.
I mean, I don't know. This is the last thing. I want to say this. I want to know how they look if, because I'm not sure if LeBron actually walked up to Russ and said, "Hey, I'm trying to go for this scoring title. Like, I want you to run. I want you to run the ball, hit me on the wing." Or I'm not sure if it came full forward, but now that you have stuff on tape, I wonder how these messages come across to people. Like, if hypothetically saying the Lakers realize that keeping Russ is the best option because you still got a star in your hands, and plus you're gonna get cap space next year. I wonder if you sit there and say, "Hey, look, LeBron clearly not setting people up no more. He's going straight for the scoring title. You like to set people up all day, dribble and pop, dribble and pop, dribble and pop. I want, and it is clearly a best case scenario. I'm just curious on if that's an option, how good would that work? I would want to see that, even though I know people pretty much hitting the panic button, shut the shit down, kill it, old yellow this whole situation. I know, I get it.
Well, no. So look, I could kind of agree with you on that. Now the thing is, when it comes down to it, if he was up front with Russ and being like, yeah, I'm going for the scoring title, and they was to run LeBron like Phoenix does Devin Booker, and Devin Booker does that. What they do is like they bring Devin Booker out the corner. He does like this kind of curl screen, and he catches the ball where he can shoot it there. And it's like, but you have Russ run the offense. That might work better. Um, and yeah, that might be a much better situation for them where you basically have um, AD running the DeAndre Ayton role, Russ running the Chris Paul role, and LeBron running the Devin Booker role. I can see how that can work much better. Um, my thing is LeBron, or what they have asked Russ to do. They've asked Russ to sacrifice his game for the team, but nobody else is willing to sacrifice their game for Russ. So I'm like, if this is what it's going to be,
AD a little
then
bit
let
better.
him go. Yeah, let him go. Let him go be great somewhere else, and let him be able to basically revive his career, prove himself, and that way he's not in the situation where it's like you basically have John Wall next season, because John Wall next season, once this contract is over, ain't nobody gonna be willing to pay John Wall nothing. Like John Wall
It's
is gonna
crazy.
probably be a backup point guard or Dennis Schroeder's type situation.
That's crazy. See how
And
he fell off like that.
yeah, but that's all I'm saying. So I'm like, let him go. Y'all can do something that's more in line with what y'all want to do versus the shit that y'all doing. So yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna see. Season's not over yet, so we don't need to jump too heavy on Westbrook, man. Uh, yeah, we're gonna see what the Lakers gonna do. We're gonna see what anybody do. Personally, I think even if he is attractive for his contract, I don't see the options being that great. But let's move on. Let's get to this final topic. Let's get to the new one we just thought of. Well, I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought of it. Was that last night? Was the game last night? Memphis and Minnesota. I think it was last night.
Was it last night? No, I think it was the night before. The night before.
Okay. All right. Well, the night before, John Moran hit the layup with seconds left, with like a second left in the game, and then everybody started talking about that dunk, fire playoff dunk, probably the best one of all time to me. But the real question is, well, the question I seen on, I ain't gonna lie, I saw it on Skip and Shannon, and then I seen it on like other things on ESPN. Is Ja becoming the face of the NBA? And that's that. I think we should just not reminisce, but give it some time to think. So the last technical face of the NBA is LeBron James. I think Steph Curry had an argument, but once he left, Kevin Durant got on his team, it kind of overshadowed him, and then LeBron became back to the face. I think they've been having a hard time finding a face in the NBA. Now, before I move on to say who I want to see in the NBA, I'm gonna stick with Ja. Ja, I don't think he'll be the face in the NBA. I think, and I thought all day, well, since I've been thinking about this topic, how to put it. I think he's too street. I think that's the best way to put it. I think he's too street for the NBA to push him as the face. Because when I talk about the face in the NBA, I'm talking about who they putting on all their commercials. They pushing for everything. And when they put up graphics, NBA versus NFL, that like his face pop up. I don't think they're gonna use Ja Morant for that. And if they do, that'll be groundbreaking. That'll be groundbreaking because again, he is more on the street side. He's gonna fall under that KD AI side of the table. Of KD is beloved by so many, but he's under LeBron. AI was beloved by so many, but they put him under Shaq, and then later they put him under Kobe. Well, even though that was kind of a short run, Ja would not qualify in the NBA in the face of the NBA in my book. And I think he could be the face of the NBA just on the strength of how he resonates with kids and adults admire him too. But again, the history of the NBA says he won't be the face.
All right. So I think you look at this from I think you look at this from the right perspective. So uh, obviously we know you're a huge wrestling fan. Part of the reason why the name of the show is the name of the show. But when it comes down to the NBA, yes, you do have to be marketable. But um, the NBA does not pick and choose who is marketable. The people do. And because the people choose who's marketable, like that's it's who resonates with people. Now, the thing is, for people in general, like if we going the back to the most marketable people on as far as far as the NBA is concerned, I think it starts with Magic and Bird. Like I think that's what it starts with. Now, when you look at Magic and Bird, they are total opposites. Like Magic was flashy. Like everything about him was flashy, smiling, like showboating. Magic is showtime. You feel me? Larry Bird was hardworking, fundamental. He was basically, I don't want to say he was where he was from, like fuck, what it was, French Lick, Indiana.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. So
Yeah.
Larry Bird was that. So you had two opposite sides of what it was, and you had certain people that resonated with Larry, and you had certain people that resonated with Magic. All right. Then when you go to Jordan, right? You had Jordan who came out, and part of Jordan's mystique is his story, because Jordan came out on a franchise that never won anything, and they got they got progressively better. He got beat, he got beat, he got beat, and then when he got to the mountaintop, it was um like almost like if we're looking at from a wrestling perspective, almost like a John Cena or Hulk Hogan or whoever you would look at from that standpoint. So his the persona that he gave, but this is what he gave to the people. So he was marketable to the people. And the NBA fined, like when it came down to the first Jordans, the NBA fined him the entire time for him wearing those Jordans, because he was in outside of dress code. Nike just decided to pay those because that made their brand better. Um, when it came down to Shaq was, even though he was mean, he was funny. So Shaq was just lovable. When it came when it came down to AI was more relatable because he's small. Most people are not the size of NBA players and things like that. So you wind up getting Kobe and Jordan. I mean Kobe and LeBron next Jordan and things like that. So you wind up having different people who've taken the mantle, but there was never somebody who basically took the mantle who did not who was like, this is a plant that the NBA has put here. You feel me? Like big men, they have a little harder time because they have to have more of a personality to do it. Whereas, like, say if Kobe, his personality was closer to a Kareem, if his if he was a big man, he wouldn't. If he was Tim Duncan, he wouldn't have got the love that he got. Just like that's kind of how Steph Curry kind of got big because the stuff that he does is relatable. Um, all that said, I said all that should say that I agree with you that Ja Morant is not going to be the face of the NBA. Only reason why I'm saying that is because I think it's probably Giannis. Um, Giannis is 27 years old, and the way that Giannis plays, Giannis going to probably play for another 7 8 years, and at that point, somebody else is going to probably take over. But I don't see somebody being better than Giannis because Giannis is Giannis has a relatable story. Giannis is hardworking where they sold fruit or jewelry or something like that from his family. And like he's really humble. Where I saw an Instagram video just now. Giannis going to get a whole bunch of Oreos to put in his basement or some shit like that. Like he's so humble, and now he became a dad and he's doing dad jokes and shit like that. So I think Giannis is the face of the NBA as far as or Giannis. If Giannis isn't the face yet, Giannis is going to be the face of the NBA whenever LeBron steps aside. But or whenever we stop giving LeBron the love of being the face of the NBA, because I I think the face of the NBA usually goes to the best player. I don't see when it hasn't gone to the best player.
All right. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pick apart what you said, and then I'm gonna go to the face of NBA talk. So you put it. I don't know if you noticed, but you kind of proved my point that I'm just saying there's a machine behind it. You don't necessarily have to be the best player for the NBA to put a machine behind you. I want to say Magic and Bird got pushed to the top as far as NBA marketing when they first got in the league. They wasn't better than Dr. J or Kareem. But and then you purposely started with the 80s because you know for a fact the NBA wasn't pushing Kareem to be the face of the NBA or this mega star. It just Kareem was just that good. Now if you want to go with NBA became more popular in the 80s, that's why you started there. That's fine too. But again, when you go with Magic and Bird, when they first got in the league, they got pushed to the top. Magic and Bird, Magic and Bird, Magic and Bird. But Dr. J was technically still better. What 1980 or 79? What year they got drafted? What year they got in the NBA?
79, 80.
79. Yeah. So
Yeah, it was the
Dr. J,
79-80 season.
yeah. So Dr. J and Kareem was still technically better, but who was getting marketed more? Magic and Bird. The 90s, I agree. I think the 90s were a lot of people set the precedent of, oh, the best players get pushed to the top of marketing. And they kind of stuck with that formula for a while. Jordan definitely held it down, but you got to realize, well, not realize, but when Jordan left, that's when Penny jumped up. Penny wasn't the best player in the league, but they was pushing the shit out Penny. And then Jordan came back and went back to Jordan. So Shaq, of course, Shaq is Shaq. I'm like Shaq didn't have to be the best player in the league for them to push him to be the face of the NBA because him being just this larger than life personality and this larger than life player, I think Shaq would have got pushed to be the face of the NBA regardless. Kobe, I think Kobe, he what's the best way to put Kobe? Because I want to make sure I say this right. I know for a fact there was a point in time where Kobe did, NBA probably would have preferred Kobe not to be the face of the NBA, but they didn't have nobody else that worked. And you know what I'm talking about when I say that. So they kind of couldn't wait till LeBron come up on his own to give it to LeBron. Like Kobe, like that's when the Mamba mentality became marketable for the NBA once Kobe started developing a more friendlier style, like more open to the public and stuff like that. So that's when they started marketing. But then LeBron came up and they gave it to LeBron. Of course, like I said, Steph had his chance to be there, and we'll see who's next. But yeah, you don't have to be the best player to be the face of the NBA. I think that breakdown just proved that. As far as the next face of the NBA is not Giannis, because I don't think the NBA wanted to be Giannis. The NBA is waiting for two people to become the face of the NBA. Number one, clear as day, it is Luka Doncic. They are trying their best to get him an MVP. They're trying their best to put him in a championship. They're trying their best to put him in a spotlight. And I'm gonna keep it a buck. It's because he's this Slovakian kid, played basketball since he was 17, and he looks like a general white boy. So at the end of the day, it's like, okay, look at this guy. He smiles, even though he talks a lot of shit on court, but no, I guess we overlooked that as basketball. But great smile, yada yada, could tell jokes. Boom. That's why every year, Luka might be MVP, even though they got 4-5 cases that's better than him. And yeah, I think be on the lookout for, and I'm trying to call this now. I've been calling this for a long time. Be on the lookout for Minnesota trading away Karl-Anthony Towns, and Karl-Anthony Towns ended up in Dallas. Because Andy L was like, he might be the face of Minnesota eventually, and they're gonna look at Karl-Anthony Towns like whatever. So NBA might try to set something up and let Karl-Anthony Towns be on Luka's team. That way Luka start winning championships. Just throwing it out there. If it comes true, replay this video. Besides that, the other person who's going to be the face of the NBA, and I think he will be the face of the NBA, clearly Zion Williamson. They are making every excuse in the world to keep this dude relevant. They made sure that they extended the playoffs so he can find a way in the playoffs. They show him every time he's on the bench just to make sure, hey, don't forget Zion sitting back there. And he fits the profile of what the NBA been going through for the past couple of years. Marketable, great smile, hype around them, the number one pick. And I don't hear nothing about he plays for this small town team. New Orleans is one of the top cities in the city, in the country. And if LeBron could pump up Cleveland, then Zion could be the face of the NBA in New Orleans. So I think be on the lookout for when the NBA starts maybe next season and Zion is healthy. Watch the hype goes around that. And I think those are two faces. I think they're going to overlook Giannis. I'm not sure why they overlook Giannis. I think dad jokes are fire. I think the fact that he likes Oreos is hilarious. Like, he's like this monkey who never knew nothing, and they're teaching him things or something like that. Like Oreos and milk. Like you're an alien. Where you come from, dude? Like, I think that's
That's
I think that's hilarious. But I feel like it's not Giannis because he should have been the face of the NBA when he won back-to-back MVPs.
So look, I'm gonna clarify what I meant about I started with Bird and Magic. The reason why I started with Bird and Magic because the NBA was dying before Magic and Bird got in the league, and Magic and Bird pretty much saved the league. Now, when it comes down to the NBA pushing, when I look at it, I'm looking at Kareem was the MVP in '80. I want to say Dr. J was MVP in '81 and Moses Malone was MVP in '82. I think probably '82 and '83. No,
Mm-hmm.
'80. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
so what I'm saying is, like, this was not the NBA wasn't pushing them like that. I think the marketability of them was pushing them because they were two of the best players and you can resonate with them. When it comes down to Kareem, it's hard to resonate with Kareem because Kareem is militant. Um, he's pro-black, um, and he's 7'4" or 3". So it's really hard for somebody to relate to Kareem being the fact that his stature is just like he's larger than life. All right, so it's hard to relate to him. Dr. J, we can probably go with Dr. J, but I know Dr. J spent majority time of his time in the ABA, so I don't know how that went as far as marketing was concerned and things like that.
Most of
When it
his
came,
prime, to be fair.
yeah, most of his prime was spent in the ABA. When it came down to Magic and Bird, I know the NBA was basically almost what a WNBA is right now, and then you draft Magic and Bird. Or they come into the league at the same time. Bird wins the Rookie of the Year that year. Magic wins the championship that year. The I think the year before they in college they had I think two record. They have the still the highest rated national championship game in history, and because their personalities are so different, but their games are so similar, it creates something to where you have the division of America, where America looks at one, you pick a side, like it's almost like politics. You pick a side. You have a Democrat and you have a Republican. So that's how I look at when it comes down to Magic and Bird. You had the two best players of the '80s, and they because they are so different as far as who they resonate with. That's why they actually uh, they become polarizing. Then you have Jordan, who's a superhero for all accounts of the word. Like he's he basically comes in and he does everything that you expect anybody to do as far as the NBA is concerned. And then when he leaves, you want somebody to duplicate that. But in the meantime, you have Shaq, right? Because Shaq is this big funny guy who Shaq wanted to do everything. He's like, even though you can't, I don't want to say you can't relate to Shaq, but you got a friend that's probably just a big funny dude. You feel me? Like that's Shaq. Then once you see Kobe, Kobe is the carbon copy of MJ. So we want to give Kobe all the commercials that MJ had. McDonald's, Sprite, Nike, all that other stuff. That you want to hurry up and do that because that's what you did. You feel me?
Kobe had no
And
damn McDonald's commercial.
he didn't. I thought he had. I know he had Sprite.
Well, no, he wasn't no damn carbon copy. He was Kobe.
He's kind of. He was kind of like MJ. Well, MJ light. Like how they have Diet Coke and Coke.
Nah, I
Yeah,
don't know.
Diet
Nah,
Diet
Kobe
MJ.
was
Diet
Kobe.
MJ. Kobe was Diet
Kobe was
MJ.
Kobe.
So and then you had LeBron. LeBron was the most hype prospect. Was basically a man playing boys in high school. As far as he was the most, he's on Sports Illustrated is a 15-year-old, and then we have and I like mentioning Zion because yeah I can get with that because they have been pushing Luca and they have been pushing Zion. Now the thing is what they push Luca for is because Luca is a rookie, or over the last 2 or 3 years Luca has averaged what 28, 9 and 8 or something like that, or it's somewhere around there. So it's like Luca has been averaging almost triple double over the course of the last few seasons, and he's only been in the league for what 3 or 4 years. So
I think it's his fourth year.
yeah, so at least 3 of the last 4 years he's been averaging at minimum 28, 8 and 8. So I don't know what his numbers is exactly, but he's been averaging LeBron type numbers in his infancy in the NBA. So that's part of what's pushing Luca. Um, his face does not hurt him. You feel me?
Who?
Like Luca.
I told you, yeah.
No, I know. Listen, I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
I'm
Like
saying his face doesn't.
you can run for president after you retire.
Yeah, his face does not hurt him. So I'm yeah. That does definitely help him because like um basketball is a majority black sport, and you have you definitely get more hype when you have somebody who can relate. Because for black kids, you can relate to everybody who plays basketball. For white kids, like, just I'm just saying, just being honest. For white kids,
No,
you don't have that many people to relate to once
Asians have
you
Jeremy
look at
Lin
that. Yeah, so when it comes down to it,
and
if
Yami
you
before
can
that.
look at Luca, that helps. So yeah, I can see where that goes.
I want a
And
regular white boy to run the NBA, man. Not no Slovakian. I want a white boy from
man,
Wisconsin to just come and start schooling dudes, man. Like,
well, we had Larry Bird, so
man,
yeah.
that was in the days, man. Look. I don't know.
Or
I don't want
Eminem
to
to
sound
come
like I'm coming across
in.
racist, but man, I want that white boy to just come on the court and had that Christian latent hate and just be smoking dudes. Like just how Luca is, but I need Pete. I don't know what's a
Maravich,
fucking white name.
like
What's a white name for Pete? Pete Peterson.
like
No, I don't know. I don't know. I want an American bred white boy to just start balling, getting that top
I,
five discussion.
son, I think it's like when it comes down to it, I think the reason why foreign players, and if we're looking at it like this, foreign players, they play grown men for a long time. So
Yeah.
like it's they play in pro leagues. Now when it comes down to one of the things, and I know we're running over, one of the things that I mentioned, I was talking to one of my partners the other day, was just talking about like, man, I hate the fact that what NBA players do right now, everybody want to take the step back three no matter what the clock say, no matter what the situation is. And it's like, we, far as American bred players, we do it for the gram. It's like we want to do it for the highlights and things like that, when you can get a better shot. And the step back three is like, it's a tie game, like 7 seconds left, and everybody want to do a step back three, and it's like, why you didn't go to the goal? Why you didn't go to the goal? So I'm just saying, like, we're so concerned with the highlights, whereas other teams or other players in other countries, they're getting the fundamentals of their game together. So
They still stealing
I don't
some of
know.
our shit though.
Of course, but I'm just saying, I don't know if it's gonna be that. So, but yeah, you can, like, when we look at the face of the NBA, it could possibly be Luca, it could possibly be Zion, it could possibly be
Giannis.
Ja, it could possibly be Giannis.
If it's
Um,
Ja, if it's Ja, that to me that'd be groundbreaking because they never pushed nobody like that. Like Ja and AI was on that. I gotta settle for what I get instead of I do think the NBA has a machine that they're gonna push behind. So if it's Ja, that'll be nice. I feel like they're looking over Giannis because I feel like Giannis is the most marketable dude right now and the best player right now. What's wrong with pushing him to be the guy who's on TV shows and shit like that? You know,
it it depends. It depends on what sells, because at the end of the day, it's gonna be about what you, how many faces you could get in front of. Because once you, like, when it comes down to part of the allure of Jordan was, Jordan had all of the endorsements at the time that he was in the NBA. Once he got his endorsements, like, they have a commercial that for Converse, and Converse had like 16 different people sporting their shoes, and then you wind up having Jordan, who had 16 different companies that wanted his services. So it was like, the way that they did that, they flipped that on his head. So uh, whoever is the person who gets those endorsements, that's going to be the person who's, I guess, pushed or whatever.
well, hopefully we don't. Hopefully it's not like how you thinking. We gotta wait till LeBron retire because LeBron's like he trying to linger on for too long. We need that. We need that. We need that switch up sooner than later. But I guess we waiting on Luka to win MVP or Zion to win MVP or something. Uh, let's finish the shit up, man. Breaking news: Chris Middleton expected to miss the entire fucking Celtics series. So yeah, y'all need to come through. Y'all got my team looking bad already. Shit, it's only been fucking an hour. Shout
But I
out to
told you that. I
everybody
told that.
who participated, the live. Shout out by showing love. Appreciate everything. God bless BLM. Be smart. Stop hating. Stop bitching. Blizzard Blaze here. G, what you got on the last words, man?
Like, share, and subscribe. Y'all see me repping Algiers D 1.5. You dig? Algiers University, Algiers A&M. I don't know where I got this from, but black-owned company. Support your people. You dig?
Algiers.
I don't know.
Oh man. Till next time, y'all. Peace out.